Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be continuing What If the Androids Won, Part 8. Now, if you haven't seen the last part, which I hope you did, you will know that Perfect Cell has now awoken. As for Cooler, he's been training in the time chamber, but he's going to be there for at least 1 year. As for the other two androids, well, they had to think some sort of plan, but they decided that they need to go with Cell, so that way they could short this Faker Imposter 18 out. And, well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It's free, you can always change your mind. Now, Perfect Cell has awoken, finally in his perfect form. And after the news he gotten, he decided he would go straight towards the two Kais. When I say two Kais, I also meant zamasu and, of course, Android 18 Black, since technically it's a Kai taking over Android 18's body, but they don't know that yet. All they do know is that there's somehow another Android 18 from a different timeline and working with this strange green-yellow Kai. So that's what they're gonna do. Cool's gonna train in the time chamber, 17 and 18 will try to figure out how to use the Mafuba, and Perfect Cell is going to face off the two evil doers. I mean, they're quite evil themselves, but you know what I mean. Cell arrives, making his presence known to the androids, or one android and one Kai. He introduced himself, being the perfect being made from powerful warrior's DNA. Which DNA he got? Well, he had the same DNA like from the Sea Fighters, Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, Piccolo, but since now he has more DNA such as Majin Buu, this means that his regeneration is a lot more faster than originally. Deborah, he could use to spit, maybe some Bobbity's DNA, gaining some magical abilities, and probably some Lord Slug and Charlie's powers, getting some of the power of Charlie's evil power and, of course, Lord Slug's mannequin abilities. He has a lot of DNA going on, so that means this cell is a lot stronger than the future cell. Way stronger, in fact. And of course, this cell is not going to betray Dr. Gero, because Gero makes sure that his androids are loyal. I mean, that's how androids 17 and 18 are loyal to begin with. This will anger Zamasu and 18 Black. Yet again, the mortals are creating beings trying to imitate the gods, even mocking them at one point. And this sets both of them into an angry rage, but they both start to attack Cell. Surprisingly, Cell is able to keep up with them, which is kind of surprises them. Like, how did this bio android so strong? How is he so strong? But Android 18 is getting stronger because she's getting more used to her body, but it's still not enough to face Perfect Cell. And Perfect Cell is kind of overwhelmed. Wow, he expected these two to do a lot better. Of course, Zamasu's not going to do anything since Zamasu couldn't even lay a scratch on Cell. At least 18 Black's doing the most heavy work, but even so, Cell's not too impressed by these two powers. And at one point, Android 18 Black did create a scythe similar to Goku Black did, and even if they may create dozens of Android 18 Blacks, it's still not enough to face Cell. Cell just simply used a little bit more of his power and is able to easily destroy all the clones. And somehow he closed the rift. He doesn't know how, but he somehow did. And right now, Zamasu knows that they're going to be quickly outmatched, so they had to change the drastic measures. 18 Black does not like this idea, but they have no choice. And immediately, they pull out their trump cards. They decided to fuse, as Merge Zamasu is now being bored. And of course, Cell never heard of fusion before, so this is the first time he's seen fusion in firsthand. And nevertheless, he is excited. Finally, now things are getting somewhere. Merge Zamasu or Fuse Zamasu and Perfect Cell begin their battle. Meanwhile, back in the time chamber, Cooler's been training up. He's been training to use his golden form, trying to master it. Well, he already mastered it, but the thing is, he knows that he gets a form level beyond this. If he's able to go beyond his fourth form and able to find a golden form, maybe he could find another form. A form that's beyond Zamasu and 18 Black's level. As for 17 and 18, well, they actually go to the time chamber with Cooler because they think that it'd be a lot faster if they just go in a time chamber and learn it that way, because that way they could speed times up. They could speed things up. So they think that Cell could handle it, which is the case. If Zamasu fuse with 18 Black, the thing is they don't even have Goku Black's growth, the same growth. So even if Android 18 has some growth, she doesn't have like that instant growth. However, at least the thing is about this Zamasu is that this Zamasu has Majin Buu's abilities, so it could at least give Cell a run for his money. So that at least helps Zamasu not get completely decimated. He's still immortal and has Majin Buu's abilities. However, Cell has that too, because Cell does have Majin Buu's DNA, and his regeneration is a lot faster. But you could arguably say that Zamasu is even faster since he has both Immortality's regeneration and Majin Buu's regeneration. So his regeneration and healing might be a lot faster, but so does Cell. And at one point, Cell does land a powerful attack at Zamasu, which Zamasu regenerates, but for some reason part of his body was messed up, like somehow he got corrupted. And of course, corrupt Zamasu is not happy by this one bit, and Zamasu begins to grow stronger, but not as strong as Cell. Cell's growing stronger himself. And finally, at one point, 17, 18, and Cooler came out of the time chamber, now ready to face off the evil Kai. And right now, they sense that Zamasu is getting a lot stronger. And for some reason, there's like a bunch of Zamasus, like there's like hundreds of Zamasus. They have no idea what's happened, but what happened does that Cell did eventually kill Zamasu, or quote-unquote kill him, but he didn't actually kill him. And similar to the manga, a bunch of Zamasu clones are everywhere. So that means that it's going to be a lot tougher to just seal one Zamasu away. No, they need to find a way to seal all of them away. And by now, Jiro decided that he needs to help out. So he actually sends out more androids. Like, imagine like a whole army of 19s. So yeah, there's an army of 19s. There's 13, 14, 15 here or there. And, well, there's also more other robotic androids. And by now, everyone begins to fight the whole army of Zamasu. It just become a whole war of androids versus evil Kais. As Zamasu is getting angry by the minute. These mortals are showing too much resistance. He's not going to let this end. So he keep powering up. More clones are powering up. And of course, the androids try to use the Mafuba, able to seal away some Zamasus, but that's all they could do. And they cannot just spam using that, because that could just kill them with their life force. I mean, there's a possibility that Android 18 would be affected by this, but they don't want to get too sure. They don't know. They don't want to be too sure. They're not too sure. And Cell could probably imitate the Mafuba, but at the same time, that could probably also deal some heavy damage to himself. So really, they kind of ran out of options. However, that is until Beerus and Whis shows up. And of course, Beerus see the army of Zamasu. Yeah, that's not going to pen well too well. And of course, he had to protect Shin, since by now, Zamasu will probably go to the Kai's world. Which is why Shin decided to teleport towards where Beerus at, towards Earth. So that way, Beerus could protect, to protect Shin. And the only way they could defeat Zamasu is by using the Sea Sword. And then hopefully they could end this quick before Senno figure out that Zamasu is going to go everywhere. Because if there's Zamasu here, there's a chance their universe will be erased, which they do not want that. So Beerus asks Whis to give him many swords, which Whis does that. And then Beerus proceeds to use these swords to seal away as many as Zamasu as he can, one by one. But it's not something that Beerus could do alone, since he has to protect the Kais, his Kai, Shin. So he actually needs the androids and Cooler's help. And Cooler sees this as a good opportunity. So after Cooler got a few swords from Whis, since Whis is creating swords for everyone to use to seal away the army of Zamasu, including some random fodder robots and other androids, Cooler transformed to his new form. Even though he hasn't mastered it yet completely, unlike Frieza, he has the black form. Although it has a massive, heavily energy stamina train, since he didn't master it like Frieza did, or at least have the perfect efficiency like Frieza did. but it's still more than enough for him to get the speed and strength to suit away zamasu. So he started blitzing over zamasu, slashing him with his sword and shooting him away, with 17, 18, 13, 14, 15, and Cell joining in with the swords. As Zamasu couldn't believe it, he's quickly being defeated, even if his mortality with him. Somehow, these mortals somehow able to defeat his army. And this last Zamasu curses them all, as he's been sealed away by Cooler. And just like that, all the Zamasu are defeated. There's like a bunch of thousands of swords on the floor. And we make sure that to take all these swords inside his staff, so that way nobody will able to release them ever again. They won, but only barely, because Beerus interfered. If Beerus hasn't interfered, the androids and Cooler would have been killed, because there's no way they could defeat an army of Zamasus, especially if all of them are just immortal. And Beerus makes sure that next time the mortals have to go stronger instead of relying on collecting data and stuff. Yes, Cell might be helpful, but even so, they're still going to do nothing about it. It was a battle that they cannot win. And if it weren't for Beerus, everyone would have been dead. So now, everyone went back to normal, or at least as normal as it can be, since Jiro rules the planet. Cell, now being stronger and now alive, or now born, he actually wants to train with Beerus. And, well, it's kind of funny because now Cooler and Cell became rivals. Well, it's not a friendly rivalry because, but still a rival nevertheless. However, his goal is the same as Cooler 17 and 18. He wants to overthrow Beerus. They don't like Beerus, and Beerus is the only person that's getting their wave or having their fun, causing destruction in the universe. So they actually had to lay low and just do what he said, or else they'd be all Hokkaid. Also, I want to get this question real quick out of the way because I know someone's going to ask it in the comments below. You're going to ask me, why Jiro didn't get Beerus' DNA? To be honest, if I do that, it's just going to make the series kind of boring because then Cell is just going to be too overpowered and it's going to beat Beerus. And then every other threat is going to be one shot. So if I do that, it's going to make the series kind of boring. That's why I kind of avoid doing that. And plus, you can also say that, Jiro could be scared of getting Beerus' DNA because if he does that, Beerus will find out and just Hokkai him right off the bat. I mean, they have no idea how strong Beerus is, so it's better not just take his DNA. However, Cell does consider stabbing him with the tail and take some of that DNA, but he knows that if he does that, he's going to get instantly obliterated. Plus, they don't know how strong Beerus is. They all have God Ki, and those who can sense Ki, they can sense how strong Beerus is, and they can tell that he's heavily suppressed. They have no idea how strong he is, and they don't know if they're going to ever surpass him or not. But only time will tell. Cooler doesn't have that same amazing potential like Frieza does, but his potential is still great regardless. And they all think if they all four of them train together, and maybe they could think some sort of plan, they might able to at least defeat Beerus, but only time will tell. But however, things went bad to worse because then the Grand Prix and Senno appeared, with Beerus shaking in his boots. As Senno declared that since Universe 7 has so much low mortar levels, he was considering erasing Universe 7 right off the bat, but not just Universe 7, but all the other universes. However, he decided that he was actually going to give everyone a chance in a tournament of power. So, the Grand Prix tells them all that they need to collect 10 warriors for the tournament, and they have to come to the tournament of power. That's all they're going to give them. You need 10 warriors in a few hours. After Senno and Grand Prix left, Beerus panics and he has no choice but to find some fighters. Right now, he's hoping that Jiro will help him get many fighters on their side. And Jiro, well, he's a brilliant scientist. He knows a few androids with him. So obviously, right off the bat, Android 17, Android 18. Keep in mind, every time I say Android 17, I always refer to Super 17 since he's permanently in his Super 17 form, but we're still going to call him 17 or Android 17, whatever you feel comfortable with. So yeah, Super 17, Android 18, Cell, and Cooler are obviously in the team. You also got Android 13, but I feel like Jiro would just make him go straight into a Super 17 form. So that means that 14 and 15 are gone, but they are replaced with Android 13 or Super 13 now in his permanent state. So that means there's 5 warriors. However, that's not enough. They need a few more. Well, Jiro has made another android named Android 21, which is supposed to be an image of his wife. And she also got the Mandarin powers too, because why not? That's 6 fighters. However, we need 4 more. And of course, Beerus has to figure out what to get. So he decided to actually to search for any strong warriors out in space. Or while Jiro will create another android. He said that he's going to make an android that's similar to Android 19, but stronger and much more powerful than Android 19. So that's what he's going to work on. Cell just think that, he could just create a Cell Jr., which he did. He'll just create one Cell Jr. and try to train that one Cell Jr. up. So that means whatever Jiro android has and the Cell Jr., that generally makes two more. So we have 8 fighters. But eventually, Whis does come back with 2 Saiyans, one named Paragus and one named Broly, and that makes 9. But the question is, who will be the last fighter? In all honesty, I feel like Jiro just upgrade himself and join the tournament, and just like that, we have 10. And yeah, Bro's the issue because they didn't have to trade him yet, but they should. In a time chamber, it'll be quick. Anyway, they head off to the tournament. And then that's where the What If ends. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.